Hey guys, it's Tulip. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. So in today's video, I'm going to be doing a building tutorial on how to build a house like mine, and I'm going to be doing a pretty in-depth tutorial, and I'm going to be explaining everything basically. So I wasn't originally going to do this, even though so many people have been commenting asking for a tutorial because they really like my house, because it would just be so time consuming, which it was, but even more time consuming if I had to build this entire house all over again. So someone actually came up with a suggestion saying that I could build a tiny version, or like a tiny home version, with the same kind of vibe that my house has, which I thought was such a good idea. So that is what I'm going to be doing in this video. Yeah, not much else to say, let's get started. Also wanted to mention that if I go too fast, I would just recommend pausing the video or slowing it down. Also guys, I forgot to mention, and I really want to give credit where credit is due. I am not trying to steal anyone's builds or anything, but I did get a lot of inspiration when I first made this build from Starry X Designs on TikTok. So I'll put up their user on the screen. But with that being said, let's get started. So obviously you gotta buy a tiny home. And then I just deleted all the furniture, and I'm just gonna make the floor white just to get like a blank canvas to start with. So I'm gonna start with the floor, and I just use a basic rug, and I'm gonna scale it down and then put it at like the front of the door. And basically we're gonna do like striped carpet kind of, but also take a screenshot or just slow this down or pause. These are all the color codes I use. So you see the little hex code down there, you can just type that in and you'll get the exact colors that I use. So we have this like green color, pink, purple, yellow, and this like cyan turquoise color. And then we're gonna do purple, and then I go into like the extra settings at the top here, and then I press on like the little round thingy, and then I do clone select. So you basically clone it, you duplicate it, and I'm gonna do that, and then I'm gonna just bring that all the way over here. And you gotta make sure that the two carpets are not glitching from each other. And then the next color is pink, so you just want to do that all the way across. I also oh my gosh, my voice. I also wanted to mention that if you don't see the multiple colors thing, basically, so you can choose your own colors, if that makes sense, you need to go into settings, and then you can kind of configure that, and then you can put like extra colors or something. I don't know what it's called, but if you only see the like basic coloring thingy and you don't have that extra tool, you just need to go into settings and then figure that out. But something I also learned from my last build is, first of all, you have to make sure the rugs are like at the same level basically, and you have to make sure they don't glitch with the floor, but also don't glitch into each other, because I learned that the hard way from some of my builds. So yeah, I just gotta make sure that they are not too far down in the floor. So yeah, just make sure they're all at the same height. Now that that is done, I'm gonna add some more decorations to the floor. So if you search table, or you can search botanical, you need to find this kind of like flower table. It's called the botanical table, I believe. And then you're just gonna color it. Either do a lighter or darker color so you can see it on the carpet, and you want to do the same color as the stripe you're doing basically. So this one I'm making a little bit darker pink, and it just takes some trial and error to get the perfect shade you want. And now that that is done, you're just gonna go, again, it's a table again, so you're gonna find, I believe it's called something like magic table or something, and you're gonna color the like kind of light thingy a pink color, and then again just move it down into the floor. And you can scale it like however you want. You can make it smaller or bigger depending on what you like. And then it basically just goes flower, and then this kind of table, and then flower, and then so on. So I'm just going to clone select the flower and then move it a little bit. And you're just going to move around with this however you like, how much distance you want from it. So yeah, just play around with it for a bit and see what looks best to you. And then also just add one of these tables to the door, like the front of the door. And then you're gonna do the same thing, but this time like the opposite pattern. So where the flower is, you're gonna do a table, and obviously color it like the same cyan kind of color, but just a little lighter or darker, to just, you can see a little bit more dimension in the floor basically. So yeah, just go the opposite kind of way to give it some more interesting texture and pattern. And that's basically just how you do it. And I'm not going to show all the clips because it's basically just the same thing over and over but different colors. So obviously next time it's yellow, and then again switching directions. So yeah, and when you're done it should look something like this. So now I'm going to color the walls, and I'm doing this pale pink color. So yeah, you're just going to go ahead and choose that in the walls section. Okay, so next thing, I want to do the door, and I'm going to do this a bit different from what I did on the last one, and I think this one turned really cute, but yeah, we're going to search window, and then you're going to find this kind of rounded, circled kind of window. And then color it pink or color it any of the colors you would like, and then just scale it down and make sure it matches so it's like even on both sides, if that makes sense. So you're going to clone it again, and then yeah, just play around with it until they are both the same size and are kind of like in the middle, if that makes sense, in the middle of the door, because we're going to cover the door with these like windows to make it look better. These movement tools are really a lifesaver, so you're just going to move it down kind of like I'm doing here, and then make sure it covers the door, and then you're going to clone select and then move it over to the other side, and then you're going to flip it, so just rotate it basically. And then just move it so you make sure it's even, and voila! And now we're gonna do like some square windows, and I'm gonna show that in a minute. Okay, so it's basically the square version of this window, and you want to make sure they are the same size. So you can see it is pretty much the same size here. And then again, yeah, just color it the same colors as the top of the door. And then just clone it and move it around a little bit until you cover the door fully, and yeah, you just get this beautiful door. It's beautiful. And then now we're gonna go into the wall decorations, and this is kind of like a bow that I also saw on that one TikTok that I got inspiration from, and it was really cute. So yeah, I'm just gonna show you how to make it, and it's out of hard rugs. It's fairly simple actually, so you're going to scale down the hard rug, and then we're going to do the 4 different colors we did on the floor. And then starting off with pink, you just want to do pink on the outside and then like a lighter pink on the inside, and do the same thing for the purple. And then yeah, next one is yellow, and then last is cyan, or like turquoise colored basically. And don't worry if you think it's too big, because you can just scale it all down afterwards. So yeah, that's basically it. And then lastly, in the middle, you're going to do this disc. So just search up disc or go into the symbol shapes, and yeah, choose just a small disc, and then scale it down and make it like this pale green color, and then just make sure it's in the middle of the bow or the heart thingy. So yeah, and then the next wall decoration that I'm going to be using throughout this video is just the heart. So you're just going to search up heart and then choose the tiny heart, and yeah, just color it. I'm going to be doing different colors all over. It's kind of random. So yeah. Okay, so I just added some of those hearts on top of the doors for some decoration. I'm going to be decorating most of the walls with these hearts and also these stars that I'm showing right now. So just search up star, and then it's going to come up, and yeah. And then the last wall decoration is cloud light. So you're just going to search up cloud and then choose the small cloud light, and then just color it white, and then move it into the wall like this, and just kind of play around with it for a bit until you get until it looks good. And then you can also just select those or like clone them and just make some smaller and some bigger, so they're kind of like all different sizes basically. Okay, now, so this tool is great. If you look at the top, it's this like selection tool. So you basically select the thing you want to grab, which is all these things combined, and then you're gonna clone it, and then you can move it wherever, and yeah, you just selected all the things at once instead of having to move each individual like carpet. Yeah, you're just gonna move it and move it at the top of the door. Okay, so this might look a little confusing, but I just went ahead and added a bunch of these decorations in all random places. So you can just kind of look what I did, but really just don't take your time doing it exactly as I did. Just kind of place them wherever, like randomly, and it will probably look good. Sometimes the most like random placements look the best. And yeah, as I said, you just want to decorate the walls. Just do it however you like. If you want it to be more busy, add more decorations. If you want it to be more simple, add not so many. And yeah, ta-da, this is how it came out. And yeah, I just skipped forward a few steps because it's basically just the same thing I'm doing. I'm just adding decorations, but you can pause if you want it to look like mine. But yeah, just place them randomly basically. And now we want to give the build some more dimension. So if you go into plane shapes and just use the regular beam and then scale it down and color it white, we're going to make kind of like pillars or like beams. So give the edges of these like walls some more dimension, or I don't know, more decoration. And you're just going to move it however you want. You can do smaller beams or bigger beams. I'm just doing it like kind of medium sized, if that makes sense. And yeah, just use this moving tool and then clone it, so this way you know it's the exact same place basically, and just move it up until you hit the ceiling basically, so it's all the way up to the ceiling. And then yeah, just do it in the places I've done right here. And now I'm going to be doing giving the ceiling some color basically, and I'm just going to clone the carpet we just did. So it's basically the exact same, just move it up to the ceiling, and it's the exact same as we did on the carpet, but don't add any like other details because the ceiling isn't that important basically. So yeah, just do that. Okay, so next up I'm going to make a place for the lures. So I have 2 lures because I have the game pass where you can get an extra lure, but if you don't have that, that is totally fine. You can just put anything else instead of the second lure. So yes, I'm going to be making Tuxedo Sam and also Pom Pom Purin from Sanrio into like characters, and we're going to build them out of basic shapes. And yeah, I'm just going to kind of explain how to do it, so let's get started. Okay, let's start with Tuxedo Sam. So you want to just use a spear, which is basically just this like round shape, and you're going to color it this kind of like blue color. I'm going to show you the hex code for it in a second, so just like take a screenshot or just pause the video, but it is this hex code. So yeah, it's probably going to be kind of hard to explain, but you just want to do the round shape and just kind of place it how big you would like it, and then you're going to use a cylinder and then just move this down, and it's basically a spear, so like a round shape at the bottom, and then the cylinder, and then a round shape at the top for his head. So yeah, let me just show you guys. And then this is just so much of like trial and error and just like moving around, but I use a white ball again for his like stomach and his like white patch he has on his like both his face and his stomach. And yeah, you just really want to move around with it, and then also a white cylinder to just kind of get that spot on the stomach as well. And this is again just so much like moving around, and then I made his head like bigger because I wanted it to be a bit bigger. And then yeah, just move it around until you feel like it looks good basically. Okay, so this is now where we're at, and I'm going to clone the cylinder, the blue cylinder we used for his body. And now I'm going to be making his arms or his hands. Do penguins have arms, or are they called like the kind of wings, the floppy things? Okay, so one of the arms, I'm just gonna call it arms. One of the arms is basically going down and one of them is going up, just like you saw in the picture, because he's kind of like waving with one of the arms, if that makes sense. So yeah, you're just gonna move it down and you're gonna clone the spear we used for his head, and this way we're gonna get the outer part of the like the arms basically, if that makes sense. So just like move it as I do, and do you see now how he has like a really cute little hand? It's really cute. It's like a little penguin floppy hand thingy. And yeah, you're just gonna do the same thing on the other side, but this time it's gonna be moving upward, so kind of like the hand is waving. So yeah. Okay, so this is how it looks like on the finished result of the hand, and now we're gonna use this roof thingy. So if you go into basic shapes again and you just like scroll, you will find this kind of roof thingy, and you're gonna scale it down, and you're gonna make it like a light orange or like a light yellow color. So I'm gonna show you the hex code for it in a second. Okay, so this is the hex code I ended up using, and yeah, you just want to scale it down and then basically just move it around a bit, and then yeah, it's the beak basically, which is really easy. And then yes, just kind of play with it until you feel like it looks proportionate. Oh my gosh. And then for the eyes, I am just using a spear again, and then just coloring it black. And again, this one you really just gotta move around until you feel like it looks good, because sometimes, like, at first I made the eyes too close, and then I made them too like far apart, and yeah, and then sometimes they look too big, and yeah, it's really just like, you really just gotta, it's trial and error. And this is how the eyes came out. And now for the feet, I just use disc, so the same thing we use for the bow thingy. So yeah, just search up disc and then color it the same color as the beak, and yeah, just move around with it until you feel like it looks like a cute little feet. And I don't know if you noticed, but he kind of has like this tilted foot, so I'm just trying to kind of like replicate that by rotating some more of the disc, so it kind of looks like it's, you know, he's kind of walking, if that makes sense. So you just want to kind of like play around with that as well. Also, I think I forgot to mention that I added pillars to this kind of wall as well, but you can just see I added the same kind of pillars there as well. But yeah, now we're going to be making his bow tie and also his sailor hat. So I'm just using this pink color. You can see the hex code of it if you just pause. And yeah, and then using a hard rug as well, and then just moving it around and scaling it down a bit, and then just doing that on the other side as well, so it kind of looks like a bow tie. It's a pretty nice hack. Okay, so now that that is done, you just want to use a disc for his sailor hat. So yeah, just scale it a bit, and then you're gonna rotate it. It's pretty rotated on his head. It's like almost falling off his head. But yeah, and then just move it around and make sure it's like on the head, if that makes sense, and it's not like just floating. Okay, so ignore the like cylinder that's just like randomly there, but if you copy the disc you just made and then colored pink, and then you just want to move it up, if that makes sense. So yeah, just like this, and then just move it up, and yeah, it should look like that. And then you just want to use a white spear, like the white ball, and then just place it like that, and you can see it's now a really cute sailor hat. And then I'm going to use one of these like hard rugs we use for his bow tie, just make that a bit smaller, and then move it so it kind of looks like the little tag he has, or I'm not sure what to call it, but the little thingy he has on his hat. So that is the finished result of Tuxedo Sam. Now let's move on to Pom Pom Purin. Okay, so starting off with the spear, I just copied the one from Tuxedo Sam, so they're about the same size, if that makes sense. And then, yeah, that is the color I used. I'm just gonna show you guys again quickly. Okay, so now you just want to make, I made it a little bit bigger because he is a little bit more round, no offense. He's really cute. He's like a little chubby. So yeah, just make his bottom, and then you just want to copy that spear that you already made and then move it up again. And that's basically just what I did. I just kept buying more and then moving them up and just kind of playing around with them until I felt like it looked good. And it kind of looks like a potato here, but he is kind of the shape of a potato. So yeah, I think that's pretty good. And yeah, that's basically it. His head is a little smaller than his body. Compared to Tuxedo Sam, his head is a little bigger, but his Pom Pom Purin's head is smaller. So yeah, this shape is pretty good. And now I'm going to use a cylinder for his ears, and we're going to do the same method we did for Tuxedo Sam's arms, and we're just going to color the same color as his body and then rotate it and add a ball at the end, if that makes sense. And then once you've done that on both the sides, you're just going to get a spear, and we're going to be making his beret, or his little brown hat he has. This is the color I ended up using. It is a little lighter than on the picture, but you know, this is kind of like a pastel build, you know, with lighter colors. And then again, just kind of move it around until you get a really cute little hat like this. And he has a little like ball shape at the top as well. So you're just going to copy the spear you just made and make it a lot smaller. Yeah, I believe like as small as you can get it almost, and just move it up, and then the hat is done. Then for the arms and the legs, it's just a spear. So you just copy the spear from the ears and then just scale it down a little bit and then move it. So he has these little cute round hands and legs. So that's pretty easy. And then the arms, I just copied the spear of the little dot on top of his beret. He actually has brown eyes, so I just left it the same color. And he has pretty small eyes, so I just kind of played around with it until I felt like it kind of looked like him. And then for a final touch, I added some eye highlights on Tuxedo Sam with just some white spears. I believe I made them as small as possible, and then I just moved them until I feel like it looked good, and I did that on the other eye as well. And here is the finished result. Comment down below what your favorite Sanrio character is. Moving on, a wall decoration I forgot to mention is I use these neon signs, and I type in these like arrow signs basically, or these like kind of V. It kind of looks like a V, but it isn't really. And then yeah, I scale it down, and it kind of looks like these like hanging LED lights kind of, and it's really cute. And I did just a few different colors. You can choose the colors yourself. And yeah, I just kind of decorate that wall. I'm going to show that wall later on because I kind of go back and forth between what I decorate. So now I'm going to be making like a rainbow. Okay, so someone actually asked me how I did this, and I'm going to be showing that now. So I used this curved like archway or doorway, this one, the kind of like thicker one. And I'm going to be changing this color because I realize I kind of messed up on the colors a little bit. But yeah, I'm just going to show you guys how I place them. So I just kind of make it bigger and then move it down, if that makes sense. But I just make sure that they're all the same size. So you just gotta move them and then move them a little bit forward or backwards, if that makes sense, like this. So yeah, it's pretty easy, and then you just move it down, and then I realized this one has to be a little bit bigger, so you just kind of play around with it, but it turns out really cute every time. And then yeah, this is basically it. It's really cute, and I'm going to be making like a grinding area here. Okay, so if you search up cloud, this one should come up, and yeah, I just place it at the end of the rainbow just to, again, like two clouds at the end of the rainbow, like that's really cute. And yeah, I just duplicate it and do that on the other side as well. Okay, so I add the winter pet bed, sorry, I always mix those up. Anyways, so I add that to like the middle of the rainbow. And you could do whatever colors you do. I made a white and pink and yellow, but you can do any colors. And yeah, then I'm using this, I think it's called a hillside pet bed. I don't know, if you search up pet bed and you scroll, you should be able to find it. And yeah, I did yellow and pink on one side, but I just ended up changing it a lot, just to see what I kind of felt like looked the best. And then I also added this prehistoric pet bed. It kind of looks like a carpet, but yeah, and this one was kind of hard to decide like where the color should go, if that makes sense. So I ended up changing them like 1,000 times, but yeah, it ended up pretty cute. And then I added some of those LED lights, or whatever you call them, on the walls, and I just added this shower, which is like, I don't know what it's called. I think it's called like a swinging shower. I don't know. It's in the toy shop section. It's from the toy shop thingy furniture pack. Then I added one of those bows to like the middle of the rainbow, and then I also added a hot air balloon pet bed, and yeah, I just colored it a bunch of fun colors. And then I just added a few decorations to the wall. As you can see, I'm always like going back and forth, but then I'm going to, yeah, add some more beams to the walls. I'm going to add one on the other side of the door. I also added one on the other side, like the other door, just to make it even. And then you can barely see this, but it's like it's still the same size beam, but I just like moved it a lot into the wall, if that makes sense. So you can barely see it. You can like skip this if you want, but I just thought it added a little extra detail to have like a little bit, you can see a little bit of the beam on those walls. Okay, so I don't know what happened to my footage here, but yeah, so basically I'm just going to explain quickly what I did here. So the bottom here is from the baby shop furniture pack. So if you search baby shop, the bottom of this thingy is gonna come up. And then yeah, the rainbow thingies here are doorways. So if you search up doorway and you choose the large doorway, and then you just like scale it and then make it smaller for every color, and that's basically how you do it. And you just kind of play around with it until you feel like it looks good. So yeah, I'm really sorry I lost that footage, but I feel like you guys can do it. You guys can see how. But I do it again on the other side in a minute. So if you want to just watch in depth, I can't talk today. If you want to see how I did it, I built it again on the other side. Oh my gosh. And then I added like a pink version of the little counter thingy on top, like a little higher up, and then I added a bow basically, but you guys can see it. And yeah, I think it looks really cute. I'm really obsessed with it. But yeah, and then I just added another like pet beds and some stuff you need for grinding on it. This is how it's looking at this point. Yeah, I just added a bunch of pet beds, so it's all pet beds down here. Yeah, but I also added some of these biodome water bowls, so I added 2 of those on each side. Sorry, I mean like 1 of those on each side. Anyways, so I added this gumball shower thingy, and then I just colored it a bunch of cute colors. Then I added a little pet shower thingy, and now I'm going to clone it all, like the whole rainbow thingy, and I'm going to duplicate it and then do the same thing on the other side. So yeah, you can just look here what I'm doing basically. Sorry if the way I'm like explaining all this is really confusing. I really am trying my best to like explain it well, but it just, I don't know, I am trying my best here. But yeah, then I just moved the shower because it was kind of getting in the way, and I just duplicated that thingy on the other side. And yeah, I don't know what happened to this clip as well, but I'm adding some litter boxes because that is pretty important for your pet's task as well. So there's a hard toilet on one side and a litter box on the other side. And then I started adding some stuff to the other grinding station, so I added 2 of these gumball showers. I just colored one of them some different colors. And then I added 2 pianos because that is also pretty important for your pet's task. So yeah, I just kind of sunk them into the wall, if that makes sense, so you don't have to see the part you can't color. And yeah, I just colored it yellow and green, and the other one cyan and pink, just to make it a little bit different. And yeah, so I also added some more of these kind of like LED light leaves, whatever, on the wall for some extra decoration. And yeah, I just added a bunch of decorations on this wall. And yeah, also guys, this video was a big project, both the editing and building this house, so I would really appreciate it if you gave this video a like. It really does help me out. And maybe subscribe if you want to see more videos like this from me. And yeah, I just wanted to mention it. And then I added another shower on the left side, and then I added a mannequin and I put one of my outfits on. I chose this one because I feel like it really matches the aesthetic we have going on here. And then I added some more of these bows on top of both the doorways. And then I added some doors to both the door frames, and this is the door I chose. It's the wooden one down here. And yeah, I just colored it these colors. You can just pause if you want to color it the same. And now we're moving on to the first room, and I started off with this like scaly kind of glitter pattern on the floor, but I ended up changing it later, which you will see. In here, I want to make a cute kitchen area, so I chose the deluxe counter, and I colored it this pink color. And then I'm just going to duplicate that and then make counters all the way across this whole wall. And then I did the same thing, but just moving it upwards, so it's like overhead cabinets basically. And again, it just doing those across the entire wall basically. And then I started adding some decorations to this wall just to make it less empty. I will show you that wall in a second, but I kind of went back and forth. So here I am just adding some of these carpets again to like the walls, just like we did in the main room, like over here. So I just duplicated that and then brought it into this room and just covered the ceiling entirely. So yeah. And then here is the result of this wall that I decorated. You can just pause it if you want to make it like mine, but I just added a bunch of the decorations we also have in the main room. And then I started adding some beams to the corners of the walls, again just duplicating the ones we have in the main room. And yeah, I did it on this corner, and then I brought it over to the other corner over here. I really apologize, you guys. I don't know why some of my clips keep getting like deleted, but yeah, so on the corners, or not the corners, but on the counters here, I added some different stuff from the ice cream shop section. So if you go into the ice cream furniture pack, you will see this sauce thingy, and then the 2 cups and cones, and then the ice cream scooper thingy. So yeah, it's pretty easy. Just go into the section I have opened right here. And as you can see, I also added some beams to the corners of the counters, and these are just the same beams that we used here a little bit ago as well. And then I searched up food and water, and I added this Queensland food and water bowl. I just scaled it down and then colored it some cuter colors. I decided to cover up the door here, so I just used a barrier or like a panel, and this is the hex code for the most similar color I could find to like the pattern we have on the wall basically. And here is where I changed the floor, so I changed the floor to the lavender paint. And then I searched up table and I found the peppermint table, and I colored it purple and just like a lighter version of purple as well. And then I just scaled it up a bunch and then I moved it down so it kind of looks like there's a really cool swirly pattern on the floor. And now then I added some of these baby counters. You can just copy it from the one we did in the main room. And yeah, I scaled it down. Some of them I just did like some different shapes or some different sizes, and I colored it some different colors as well. And these I'm going to use for pet displays, so I'm going to put pet stands on them so I can like display some of my pets, which I think is really cute. And then I added this little bush beneath them, and here is the hex code for the green color. Look how cute it is! I did a lighter pink for like the around it. And now I'm going to be adding the stand. So yeah, you just buy a stand. They are a bit expensive, but yeah, you just buy it. And I'm gonna place my pet first. I kind of switch these pets out a lot just to see what pets I feel like fit the build best. But yeah, once you have added the pet, you scale down the stand so you don't see it, and then you just move until you feel like the pet looks good. It took me so long to decide which pets I wanted. I'll probably switch them out again. But yeah, then I started adding some decorations to this wall as well. Some clouds, a little bit of hearts, some stars, you know, all the good stuff. And then I added this magic cupboard, which is like this cabinet thingy, and I colored it some cute purple colors. And then I added a cash register, just because sometimes you need to transfer money from your alts, or maybe people want to donate a little bit. It's always good to have a cash register in your house. And then I added this plant. If you search a plant, they should come up, and I just colored it some a little bit cuter colors, and I also added this luxury plant as well. And then I added a school board, and I kind of went back and forth on what to color it, but I decided on a like peach color basically. And yeah, I just wrote good vibes only, just for a little cute quote. Yeah, and I decided on a little bit of a lighter peach color, and then I just started adding some more decorations to this wall as well. Not that much though. And then in this corner I added this kind of flower thingy. If you go into the winter furniture pack, you should find it. And I colored it some colors that fit the house better. And then I added this painting. If you search up painting, it should come up, and this is the color scheme I ended up with. And now lastly for this room, we're going to do a cute little rainbow wall. So I just copied this beam we've already made, and I colored it this purple color. I bring it all the way up, and then I duplicate it, and I make sure to leave a little bit of space in between the two beams here. And I just do that for the rest, and I'm going in color order. So I'm going purple, blue, green, yellow, and then lastly this peach pink color. And now here is the finished result of the kitchen. I am really happy with how this came out. I think it turned out so cute. Let me know what you guys think of this room. I really love the rainbow wall, which I will be definitely doing for my future builds. But now let's move on to the last room, which is going to be the bedroom. Okay, so we're starting with a pretty blank canvas. The only thing I kind of see in this room is Pom-Pom-Purin's back kind of sticking out, but that is okay. We're gonna cover that later, so don't mind that. Okay, so first thing I added is this Queensland bed, and I'm going to be coloring this some more cuter colors. Okay, so remember that panel we used earlier for covering the door? I'm going to be using that to kind of cover this little spot here, but it's going to look really cute, don't worry. So it's not just for covering up. And yeah, I move it a little bit and just move it up as well. So I duplicate it again and I move it up. And then I'm going to do the exact same kind of rainbow wall as I did in the other room. And this is now the finished result, and I'm going to grab a beam, like the white beam we had in the other rooms, and I'm just going to bring that up and into the corner here. And then I'm also going to add one on the other side and also at the end of the bed here and bring that all the way up. And then as we did in the other room, I'm going to cover the ceiling. So basically just bringing the carpets in from the main room to this room. Okay, so this might go a little fast, but I use a basic rug to make like a window. This is a blue color I use for like the sky, and then I use a donut rug for the sun, just the same yellow color we've used. And then this is the color for the grass, again just basic rugs that I move across like this. And then I'm just adding some clouds, just search up cloud and it should come up. And then I pick a safari tree, and this is the brown color. And I just scale it down to be really small, and I just place them wherever I'd like, so it kind of looks like a landscape. You can add how many you would like. And then I am doing the frame for the window, which is just white beams like we did here a little bit ago. And yeah, you just scale them down depending on how thick you would like the frame of the window to be. And this is the finished result. Let's now talk about how it makes absolutely no sense that there's a window here. Okay, so remember how we used a grabbing tool earlier? I'm going to be using that again, and I'm going to clone this Pompompurin. Guys, I'm a little tired. And I'm going to scale it down so it can be a little plushy we can use on the bed. And you might need to adjust a few things here and there. But yeah, it works pretty well. And then I just added some more of these LED lights just to give the wall some more decoration. And then here is how it looks after I decorated it a little bit. And now I just searched a pillow and I picked this pillow pile, which I'm going to put on the bed. And I just colored it some cute colors and scaled it a little bit. And yeah, it looks pretty cute. And then I added a beam to this corner as well. And I put this magic cupboard, I believe it's called, and I colored it pink and just scaled it down a little bit just to make it fit here. And now I'm going to be building a plushie, and you have to trust the process with this one. So I add a ball or like a spear that is yellow, and then I add this rounded cylinder thingy. This is the color. And I add it as a neck, so this is gonna be the neck. Okay, trust the process. And I use those same ones, just scaled down a little bit more. You gotta just play around with it a bit. I use those for the legs, and now I am making the head. It is a chicken. Did I mention that? Yeah, it is a chicken. This is how it's looking at this point, and then I'm just going to duplicate the beak we have from Tuxedo Sam and use that on this little guy as well. And I just used black spears for his eyes, and don't expect this to be like a pretty plushie, okay? He's a goofy guy, he's kind of ugly, but that's why we love him, okay? And yes, I just gave him, I don't know why, but I decided to give him like ears, just again out of yellow spears. I just feel like it gave him something. It looks kind of like pom-poms. I just think it's kind of cute. And now I'm gonna make a squishmallow axolotl. So I use a cylinder that's colored a light pink color, and I just kind of scale that down until I feel like it's the right size. And then I use a spear for like the bottom because they're kind of rounded at the bottom. So yeah, you just really gotta play around with it. And then a spear at the top as well, so it should kind of look like this. You just gotta play around with it for a bit. And then I use a bottle, actually, a bottle colored in like a deeper pink, and I use that for the ears. I just scale them down and then rotate them like so. And yeah, I use 3 for each side. And the arms are just, again, cylinders that are like been made smaller, and off the end of the arms is just small spears as well. Again, for the eyes, it's just black spears again. And for the tummy, because they have like a white tummy, I just use a white spear that I kind of just play around with for a bit until I feel like it looks good. And then for the mouth, I actually used black short strings. So if you search up string, it should come up. And this was the hardest part because you had to really rotate it so many times, and it's just so small, so it's hard to see. But yeah, it turned out really good, so I feel like it was worth it. And then again, I just used the grabbing tool, so I'm gonna duplicate it and bring it over to, so they stand next to each other, so we have two axolotls, but this time I'm just going to color it a light turquoise or like a light side color. And yeah, I think it turned out really cute. Look at these cuties. We have one ugly one and two cuties. And now I'm gonna make like a shelf kind of thingy, so I just take one of those beams, I rotate it, and yeah, just do like that, so we have like a shelf. And then I add a stack of books. I color it some much cuter colors, and so we have two stacks of books. And then I add a candle, and I'm going to do another shelf, and that's also going to be with some books on it. And I'm going to be trying something new, so I grab a space tree and I'm going to color it. So I colored this green color, and for the second part of it, just make a little bit of a darker green just to give it some dimension. And then I add a wood bowl, and I color that pink as well. And then we have this cute little plant. I think this is really cute. And then I added a beam to the corner, and I also added a beam right here, kind of in the middle, kind of not. And then I added a gingerbread TV and colored it some pastel colors. And then I added a magic nightstand. And I colored it to match our magic cupboard we have right next to it. Looking cute so far. And then you guys know the drill, I added some decorations to the wall. So this was how it was looking, and I decided to make a wardrobe over here, so I added a clothing rack and I just colored it a bunch of the colors we have. And then just like we did with the shelf, I added like another level to it, if that makes sense. And yeah, I just added another clothing rack, and it was looking really cute. And then just because it was looking a little bit empty, I added some stars and some hearts and some different stuff to the back of it basically. And then I added some of these baby counters because I want to make another pet display area. So I added like 3 like these and then added some pets to them. This is really hurting my bank account, but yeah, I just added some decorations as well. You guys know the drill. I added like a flower as well. And then I thought, what if I add like a round cylinder so it kind of looks like they're on like a stand, if that makes sense. And I feel like this looks really cute. So I decided to do that on all of them. I just moved the flower like this, and here is how it turned out. I think it's really cute. Then I added some more bows and some final finishing touches. Okay guys, so I am finally done with the house. I'm so excited to show you guys. This was like a big project, and I gotta like calculate how much bucks this was, and I'll put it up on the screen right now. But it was definitely a lot of bucks, so if you want to make this, just make sure you have a lot of bucks saved up. But also a lot of the cost come from like the stands I put, and yeah, the stands and just some other things that might be a little expensive, and you could switch those out for like cheaper alternatives if you want to make this version cheaper, if that makes sense. Anyway, so let's just go in and I'm gonna show you guys. So yeah, I really love how this house came out. Let me know your guys' opinions down in the comments, and also if there's anything else I need to elaborate more on or anything I didn't mention that you guys would like to know, then yeah, just comment down below and I'll answer all the questions. But that was it for today's video. This was a long one and a big project. It took a lot of hours, but I really hope you guys enjoyed watching, and hopefully I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye!